Hello everyone, this is Monster and Bloba coming at you with another Kindred Fates guide. Today we're going to be talking about our only light type so far, Lumala. As always, we're going to get things started off with the moves. First up, we have Light Burst. This is Lumala's basic attack. Like most basic attacks, it doesn't do much damage, but it has good range and low cooldown, letting you get some good use out of it while you need to run away or fight a long-range battle. This is a basic attack that has the special attack type of damage. Angelic Ray appears as a stationary beam of light that deals damage to enemies and heals allies in an area. The damage is very small and should only really be used as an attack if you plan on stopping a buff or a rest from going off. The heal can be very nice if you make sure to put distance between you and your opponent. Just make sure you're ready to dodge out of the way if you see your opponent making their way towards you. This power alone is enough reason to keep your Lumala safe so that you can run away and heal up the other members of your team. I recommend waiting the 4 seconds before you put this ability down if you've switched recently so that you can get the most out of the healing for the other Kinfolk you plan on switching to. If you plan on healing your Lumala, then feel free to ignore this part. This also deals special attack damage. Next up, we have Homing Blast. Homing Blast will track the enemy down and deals weak special attack damage to the target. Due to the weak damage and slow movement of this attack, I recommend using it when your opponent is at low health and you need to finish them off. Or if you want, you could use it for someone you can't see them with other attacks, like if they're behind Skulkin's Caustic Cloud, or maybe behind a shove that threw down some rock slide to cover itself while just to heal something along those lines. Then we have Righteous Attack. This deals special attack damage to enemies in a target direction. This attack is pretty much Lumala's, quintessential trademark attack, if you will. This attack has some very good damage on it. It's also very easy to dodge, though, if you understand the cues for it. It has a long startup time, leaving you vulnerable to counterattack. So as powerful as this is, you have to try and time it when your opponent is low on stamina or otherwise distracted. You don't really want to trade this with something like Ember's Explosion. If you can catch your opponent using something like a Thrash, then you might be able to sneak this attack in before they realize what hit them. Next is Ruminate. Ruminate raises the user's special attack by 2 stages. Like all buffs, you need to put some good distance between you and your opponent before using it. The 2-stage damage buff here can be helpful if you want to try and play more like a sniper build with Lumala, keeping your distance from the enemy and pinging them while far away. Now we come to Rush. Rush deals physical attack damage to all enemies caught in the user's path. This powerful is wonderful, and I would say it's almost a must-have for Lumala. The damage is minuscule, almost negligible, but the movement it gives you, even when you're trapped by quicksand or out of stamina, is essential for keeping the enemy away from your Lumala. But that's it for moves, so now we're going to move on to just general gameplay. With Lumala, you're faster than most Kinfolk, so you can use this to your advantage and stay on the move while they have a hard time keeping up with you. And you can get your damage with your basic attack, or you could use your longer animation attacks when your opponent's still trying to catch up with you, and you can keep them back away from you because your speed is going to be better than most Kinfolk, except maybe Slifer. But you can also try to trap your opponent and do some real damage if you can get them into something like a Shovel's Quicksand or a Mekkid's Iron Fist or something like that, if you want to do synergies with your other Kinfolk. If your opponent gets close, I highly recommend you use Rush to get away and dodge if Rush is not an option, because once you corner a Lumala that's low on stamina, then you can devastate it with close range attacks if you have somebody like Ember or Mekkid, especially Mekkid. But as for the items, I think that Rations is probably the best item for Lumala right now. So it works super well with the hit and run tactics. It can help you recover a small amount of health while slowly whittling down your opponent. Another item that could be good is the Peach. I think that Rations are better in the long run for Lumala because of just how survivable Lumala is and how good they are at hit and run. But if you don't find anyone else on your team needing Peach, then Lumala wouldn't be a terrible choice for it. Now we're moving on to the matchups. First matchup, I want to start with the mirror match of Lumala versus Lumala. In this case, I can recommend running up close and running around your opponent while attacking with your basic attack. The only issue with this tactic but they can switch at any time and catch you off guard, so you need to be wary. Other than this, if you're confident in your aim, you can try and have a long-range duel. Good time to use your Righteous Light would be when you think your opponent's about to put down Angelic Ray. If timed right, they won't be able to dodge your attack because of the animation lock for playing Angelic Ray. Now, in there. When fighting enemies, you get further away, so you can use your speed and clever dodging to wear him down. Try not to take the trades for Explosion or Righteous Light, as it will likely not work in your favor. And remember to be careful when up close, as using almost any ability you have will give Bear enough time to get a burn off on you. As for fighting Kadoki, you can pretty much use the same tactics as I said with Bear, but rather than worrying about getting burned, you need to worry about sleep. One thing to note is sleep is much harder to land than Scorch, so you're a little safer using Righteous Light as long as Kadoki is at a fair distance away and can't reach you on the time it takes to use Righteous Light. Just watch your cooldowns, watch your animations, and Kadoki's not really much of a threat. The only thing is if Stunner Flies catch up with you, then the Kadoki could potentially cause some damage there. Next up, we have Mekkid. Mekkid could be very scary for Lumala even before Mekkid's recent buff. If you let the Mekkid get close, Iron Fist will be enough to take out almost half your HP if it lands, and more than any other Kinfolk, you do not want Mekkid to get close to you. Avoid using Righteous Light unless you're 100% sure that Mekkid's rush is on cooldown and he is far enough away that you can hit him before he gets up close, because Iron Fist will devastate you if he gets it off. Next up is Shovelet. Much like Mekkid, Shovelet can be a real danger to Lumala. Make sure you have your rush off cooldown for when Shovelet uses Quicksand. If you have a good distance, you can bait dig out of Shovelet by using Righteous Light, then quickly switching to something like the Bear and punishing the Shovelet because he wasted his dig, or another Shovelet and then trapping him in the Quicksand before throwing some status effect on him is another good play there. And now we move on to Skulkin. Skulkin may be the best matchup for Lumala, although I wouldn't say no to a Mekkid versus Lumala, as I said earlier. But Skulkin is being slow, will have a hard time dodging your attacks. If you can wear him down and make him use up his stamina by dodging often, then you'll have a fairly easy time hitting your Righteous Light. You just have to be careful with your Angelic Ray, as Skulkin can lock it down with his Caustic Cloud. This being said, if used carefully, you can try and bait Skulkin into using this move and counter it with Righteous Light. So, much like the type chart says, light and dark really can play into each other and counter each other. Last but not least, we come up to Slifer. Slifer's extreme speed means that he can keep up with you pretty much at all times, and his melee combos can do huge damage to you. Don't even try to outrun him. Just find somewhere to stand your ground and put down an Angelic Ray you can run in and out of, making it as hard as possible for him to get close to you without taking at least some damage for it. Also, if you're running Rations of Peach, be wary of Slifer's Pilfer, because he will steal your abilities, and the last thing you want is a Slifer with healing abilities, as he's already hard enough to hit as it is. But I think this about covers what I want to say about Lumala. Please leave a comment if you have any question or tips of your own to leave. This one was the Tamer Bloba. Thank you for checking my guide out. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye, and God bless.